Hey everyone, welcome back to the main experience. Today's video, we're going to be doing a quick update on the house. A little bit of a disappointment there, for you guys anyway. We're going to take a walk back out to the stream. I'm going to show you the backyard a little bit. Then we're going to come in here and just take apart some of this electrical stuff. It's not too much, nothing that's going to be able to change right now. Just going to be a little bit of an informative video. Going to be at the circuit breaker panel and take some wires out of there and take some breakers out. Show you how to do that. Full disclaimer here. I am not a licensed electrician. I'm not a journeyman electrician or anything like that. I am no training on electrical other than self-taught, and my dad's taught me some, and I have an uncle who's an electrician, master electrician. So I am not an electrician. This is all for entertainment purposes. All the power is turned off at the circuit breaker panel, but as you'll see, I'll test all the wires, double and triple check them. I know kind of what I'm talking about, but if I mistake a term here or there, please forgive me. Any electricians or inspectors in the comments, I will do, once I rebuild, everything will be permitted, inspected by somebody who knows more than I do. Just full disclaimer, I am not an electrician. Take everything with a grain of salt, and my video is not to be used for educational purposes. Just had to make that disclaimer. Thank you everybody, enjoy the video. Hello everyone, welcome back to the main experience on this very windy day outside here in Maine. You'll probably be able to hear it every now and then. Windows like to shake quite a bit out here on the porch. Well, with that, you can see we're at the house today. It's been a lot of work done without you seeing again. I think I'm going to put an end to trying to record while we work. I just can't manage it. I don't know why. My brain just doesn't think. So, like in the last video you probably saw, I do apologize. I promised you'd see a lot of work in the beginning, but you haven't. So I do want to take you around just real quick. The upstairs here, the first floor, hasn't really changed any since you've seen it last. You see everything is empty, just a quick glance over. The only thing that's changed, I don't know if you've seen the bathroom last, we took the toilet and the sink out. And then nothing else has really changed. I just took this light fixture out this morning. So the asbestos crew is coming next week, hopefully. The place I do want to take you is down into the cellar so you can see, because this is where the progress has been going on. Ready for this? Look at right. Oh, you can't see it. We got lights. We got a light switch. So on the left here is where the bulkhead entrance is, but I want to show you something. That's it. No stairs. And when we opened it, you couldn't even see the doorway, which you see there has a piece of plywood over it. There was a floor here, and this was completely sealed off from the outside. So we opened it up to pick out all the junk that was in here. As you can see, we got big lights in there. It's nice and bright. There it is. All pretty much empty. All the copper piping has been removed because it was all split and cracked and frozen from being, split and cracked from being frozen. See, the floor's a little damp. We did have quite a bit of water come out of the pipes in the old boiler furnace. Here's a picture of what the process was of taking apart the furnace. So yeah, we took the furnace out of here, and that was a huge effort between me and Dad. I think Mom's got a couple videos of it. I'm not sure if I'll post it or not, but it was a lot of hammering, crowbarring, because it was an old boiler. Brought it to the scrapyard yesterday. 700 pounds that furnace was, 730 to be exact. So that's gone. The hot water heater's gone. The dryer that was over there is gone. The wash machine's gone. I put a GFCI protected outlet over here where we can run stuff down here. We've already used it. It already stopped Dad from being electrocuted once because he dropped the cord into the puddle on accident, and this went pop and killed the circuit. So yeah, we're up to 4 circuits in the circuit breaker panel. I pulled out a whole bunch of wires that were up here. I turned the power off, pulled out a whole bunch of wires. I got one old fixture here. I don't really think I would like to use it because it's not grounded. As you can see, there's no ground plug. I was gonna use it right out here in the hallway. Right here, you see, it's kind of a dark spot, and there's a There's a junction box right there. And I like to just put maybe a little light bulb there or something, because the wires are already split inside there. Because we did that just in case we wanted to add a junction box there. But yeah, I would like to have a little extra light right here. You can see it's pretty dark. It does look like it has a slight sag to it, so we may have to just go just go up like that, and now it's aimed downhill, that's for sure. Another problem we have here, this cast iron pipe right here is really old. It's in fairly good shape until you get over here. It's a little rusty. But that is the original pipe that would have been drained to the house. But you can see the support bracket's broken. We haven't touched it yet because we don't know if that pipe's gonna come crashing down or what's gonna happen. It's really only being held up by this PVC pipe at the moment and whatever clamps it has on the roof. So that's the update on the basement. I'm actually gonna use the back door. So you got this sketchy old back porch, which is literally falling off the side of the house. This I want to get on video coming down. I've got to get something good on video. What is all that ruckus? So yeah, we cut all this yesterday. Sorry about that loud noise if you can hear it. I think that's the sweeper truck. Cut all this down yesterday. It's not looking too bad. Just need to get a little bit more mulching done in here. Not mulching, but chop it up of the grass. I got some cable for my string trimmer, so that might run a little better than string. This is the back of the house. Standard size house. Trees are squeaking up on the house. So this is the porch we were just in that I want to take down. It's just this brown, ugly piece of junk here. This is nice. Here's the back stream here. I haven't really been down here to the stream much. This was all snow last time I was down here. You can see, unfortunately, somebody dumped some shingles, it looks like, and some roofing material down here, unfortunately. So yeah, let's take a look at the stream. This is the closest I've ever been. So you're joining me for the first time. Wow, this is pretty nice. The quaint little stream. This is Brook, I believe, which runs into the Androscoggin River. Check this out here. We got some pottery, some ceramics. That's cool. And then we got some glass here, which has been in the river a long time because it's rounded. It's not sharp. You can see I run my finger along it. Yeah, you see the wind is howling. Yeah, this is pretty nice. I can't wait to get some chairs down here and clean up all these leaves and just stuff. A nice huge pine tree over there. Oh, look at this. Look at that. That is a big old bolt. That's a square bolt. That's old. All right, here's the tiny little private beach. Very nice. It's pretty nice. It's private, down over the bank from the houses and the apartment buildings, so you can't really be seen. Well, okay, welcome to upstairs. I almost forgot about this. There's one thing I want to check in here, and it's over there. Yeah. It's over here. I want to check on it real quick. Yeah, it is still there. It's, I'm going to show you, because I want your opinions on what it might be. It looks like, to me, it's some, I have no idea, honestly. This was coming out of the wood the other day. I hate to say it, but it looks like the walls are bleeding, or were bleeding. I might tear this board out on camera and see what the heck's going on back there. I can tear this one out. Let me go find a hammer. I'm gonna take this one off at least. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I brought the hammer and a pry bar. I think we should just need the hammer, hopefully. Pulling this board off, I wanna see what's back here, okay? Here we go. Looks like just insulation at the moment. It might be a mouse nest, actually. Oh dear. Oh dear me. That's a mouse nest. So Let me go grab a mask. I'm back with trash bags, glovies, and a mask. Let's see what's back here. I'm fearing the worst at the moment. I hope it's not a dead mouse that froze to death over the winter, and now he's bleeding out now that it's warm. All right. Please don't be a mouse. Well, there's definitely been a mouse in there. Plenty of mousy turds. This is why I went and got a mask. Oh, lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I think it's probably mouse pee, or actually, rather, decomposing feces. That's nasty. Come on, man. Yuck. Oh, I might have to go grab my oscillating saw, cut this board out right here. Zoop. Since it's behind the studs. Ay, ay, ay. Whoa. I got the oscillating saw. This is going to be noisy, so I'll have to turn down the audio, but I don't like doing this. I know it's going to disturb all that stuff. Here we go. Alright, I think that's got it cut there. It's just got a nail in it now. I can smell the pine boards. Alright, maybe it's not cut through. Hang on. Yep. Oh, pew, does that freaking stink? Oh. Alright. Yep, I think that's what it is. It's just decomposing mouse feces. That's wonderful. That is just wonderful right there, mister. Almost so. Oh, that ain't what I wanted to happen. Dang. Well, that's gross, but yep, that's what it is, unfortunately. Degrading mouse feces. That's just grand. Alright, well, let's move on to the next project. Hopefully that didn't take too long. Let's move on to the next project out in the garage. Alright, welcome to the garage. It's been a few since you've been here. With the big door open, let some big light in here. So what I'd like to do today is get all these outlets opened up. I don't think they're going to be grounded, even though they are grounded outlets or grounded receptacles. I have a hunch that the wires don't have a grounding conductor on them. Dead. Okay, so we are safe to open these up, and there's no risk of shock. So we are going to start at this outlet, and we've already checked that the power is off. And we've also checked with the beeper right here. I'm going to put this in my pocket. So to open up these boxes, all we got to do, I'm going to use that tub for screws, is just loosen these screws. It should just slide, just kind of twist it, slide it right off. There's very little wires back here, and I don't see a ground cable coming out. There's very little room for wire stretch coming out of here. So now that that's open, I'm going to use my beeper again, just in case. We're going to double check the hot line in. Okay, it's dead, and the other side is also dead. Okay, so we're safe to proceed. And I'm going to reach around back here. I don't know if it's too dark for you or not, but I'm just gonna unscrew these. wire back there for me to work with. You see these are the, I don't know if you can see it or not, I can't see the screen. This is how the neutral lines and the line in lines are hooked to the receptacle. Just a J hook on the end of the wire. It screws into the screw terminal here. Normally, if an electrician had done this, they would have left probably 4 to 6 inches of wire outside of the box. That way there you could have got it off of the outlet without having to take the screw all the way out of the receptacle. Outlet and receptacle are the same thing, just two different terms. Outlet is more vague and the receptacle is this here. So you can see this is also, how is this mounted to, oh, there's a center screw right there, and that mounts the receptacle to the faceplate of the box. But all I gotta do now is on the end of these metal MC wires, basically these are cable clamps, and they clamp this wire into the box so that they don't fall out. And my GoPro battery's dying, that's good. So all I gotta do is unscrew these clamps. Now in theory this wire should pull right out of here. Sometimes they do. Oh, they've got the red stopper thing on here. So I'm not sure what these are called, but I know they come with this MC wire stuff, and I'm not sure how to remove them. I've never come across it before. This is the first time. None of the house wiring had it. There's these little red thingies that go in the end of the metal wire. You can see it right here. I'm not sure what they're called. I've seen videos on them, but it's just another stop to prevent this metal wire from backing out. There's the other side right there. It was already off. And then wires just come right out, like so. Then we'll pull that off the ceiling. We'll have to get a ladder because there's another junction box up on the ceiling. This is a standard plug here. This goes to the shop light, which is behind strapping up there, unfortunately. So we'll have to take the strapping out on the ceiling to get this cord out, or I'll just cut it. That's probably a better option. So let me show you a little closer here. So this is the wire headed out now. And you can see this is the cable clamp here. Anybody who's familiar with electric knows all about this, but just for anybody who isn't. So now the problem with this setup was, you saw on the receptacle that it has, there's the light, it has the ground pin on it right there, and it has the ground screw there. So this is a proper grounded receptacle, but there was no ground wire in this wiring at all. This is the in wire. You can see it's just a neutral and a line wire. Completely illegal. Those should not have been installed, but they were probably installed 30 years ago. So yeah, I'm just gonna take them out, redo them all, leave the boxes in place because they're about a good height for a shop outlet. So let's take this clamp off and pull this wire out. So that little red clip is already out of this side. I showed you before, it had already come out. So this should just wiggle out just like that. Okay, so this outlet's kind of behind a pile of trim boards here from the house. But this is a different type outlet. This has a different cover plate on it. It's the same idea, but it's just a different cover plate. This white thing there is kind of in the way, ain't it? There we go. Yeah, this outlet is broken. This was live when I bought it. Look at this. Can you see it okay? Not really. Hang on, I got a better light over here. Hang on. So yeah, as I was saying, this outlet is broken. You see right there, that would have been hot right there. Oh, this wiring was active. That's not good. This should have never been on. This was on when I bought it, and I'm glad I turned it off. So let's remove this outlet. We'll make quick work of it. And this one has a red wire on it. What do we got going here? We got a red wire on the grounding connector. This is interesting. Okay. Yeah, check this out. So you can see there's a red wire. Bring this light over here. There's a red wire going to the grounding screw. I wonder where that goes. And then we have the standard neutral and line wires. So we have some sort of 3-wire system here. All right, let's follow this wire. We're gonna see if we can figure out why there's that 3rd wire in there, unless they're grounding to something. So it goes behind this shelf and dead ends to this outlet. Why is there a 3rd wire in there? So those are dead. I don't have a problem snipping them just to get them out of here. This is all gonna be rewired. Yeah, okay, we got the outlet out. There's which was broken like I showed you there. So there's the 3rd red wire, which is on the grounding connector, grounding screw. Why that is, it only goes to another outlet. I am not sure. I'm gonna take this apart, pull these clamps off, and then we'll go over the next outlet. You don't need to see all this again. That box is all unhooked. We're now gonna move down to the last and final outlet. And of course it is. So yeah, this is interesting to me. So this red wire comes out from the other outlet on the grounding screw, hooks to this outlet's grounding screw, which would be okay if from here over had that same thing, and then this one would have also been grounded, and then the wire going out would have had a ground. That would have made it okay. Then it would have grounded back to the panel. But where this wire didn't have a ground, that was doing absolutely nothing. If that ground wire were to have received any sort of current from a short circuit or a ground fault or anything like that, electricity in the ground wire would have went to here and terminated and probably blown up the outlet. The boxes weren't grounded either, so somebody just didn't know what they were doing. I'm not an electrician by any means. I can work on residential wiring. I figured that out pretty simply, but I'm just stumped at why they hooked up this red wire between the 2 outlets and didn't ground it to nowhere. All right, dead. So again, I'm just gonna snip these since they're obviously dead, since they're unhooked on the other end. It's much easier just to snip them on old receptacles like this. So there you can see, there's the receptacle. You can see what I mean here. It was hooked to the ground screw on the bottom of this receptacle and then hooked to the other one. I don't know. Somebody didn't have much of a clue, I don't think, when they wired this garage. But you can see it wasn't really doing much of anything. I just pulled the wire right out of there. Okay, so yeah, all the boxes disconnected. That red thing's stuck in there. There it is. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Now that that's done, shut the light off. We're running out of battery. This wire here, it's just stapled into the cardboard material already. Yeah, that didn't come off very hard. So there's a chunk of wire. We'll throw this over into our wire pile we got going here. And then we've got more wires here. Another piece we'll just put there. Now this piece goes up to the ceiling and then to the junction box right up there. Don't know if my ladder I've got will reach that, but we can't go ripping this out until that's down. Let me check, see if the ladder will reach that, and I'll get back to you. Okay, watch your head. Here comes the cover plate. Ooh. Anybody who knows me knows I don't like heights. Even just that little bit, it's a little nerve-wracking for me, but I made it. All right, so 16% battery. I'm gonna take this wire. It's stapled all the way up the wall. Hopefully those staples pull right out, but you never know with these things. Here goes nothing. Look at that. Whoa! 2 points. One of them went in the bucket. All right, we got one more staple up there. Ready? There she goes. Probably should put my safety glasses on. There goes another one. Come on, there it is. Now, if you're an electrician and you're cringing right now, too bad. This is the only way I've got to do it. I'm by myself today. This is what I've got to work with, and I will make do with what I got. And everything's dead, so I'm not worried about getting fried. Panel's turned off. All right, so this, I don't know if you can pick it out, but this is our wire here. Coming across, and it comes over, comes down, and goes to this light switch. So we gotta disassemble this light switch, unhook it from here, and we should be able to pull it right off the ceiling, is what I'm hoping for. All right, let's go get the light and screwdriver. So just to show you this old-fashioned wiring, so you have a wire nut right here, simple wire nut, right? Take the wire nut off, and you have a little brass crimper here. So basically that has a straight head screw on it, right there. So all I have to do is unscrew that. There we go. Okay, it's free from those cables. So here's our old wire we just removed. And this wire, this other side goes back to the circuit breaker panel, which this wire should never be tied into a circuit breaker panel. So here's our wire. Quickly before the battery dies, we're gonna give it a pull, and I'm gonna set you up over on the other end of the garage with, I think I'm gonna put the, so putting my safety glasses on is what I was trying to say, because the staples are flying. And we're gonna finish pulling this wire out of the ceiling. Here we go. Yep, I just get hit in the head with a staple. She's coming off. Almost to the junction box. Hi, there we go. Those lights gonna get replaced anyway. All right, now we're gonna go over, and real quick, I'm gonna open up the panel and show you guys the inside of the circuit breaker panel, and we're gonna pull out what's left of that wire. So let's go back over here. I'm gonna set it up, and I'll be right with you. All right, so my recommendations are, if you have an outside breaker and it has a main on it, I suggest you turn it off. I was happy the electricians that did my house, when they put in the new panel and the new outside meter box, they put in an outside main emergency breaker. And every time I work in the house with the electricity, with the breaker panel, I go outside and I turn that breaker off. That way they see the main lines coming in are completely dead. This case, I don't have that. So I'm just going to be extra cautious when I take this panel out. I am confident around it. I know what I'm looking for. So all you need is a straight head screwdriver, and there's 6 screws on this panel. There's 4 on my house. So I'm going to start at the bottom. It doesn't really make a difference where you start. I like to start at the bottom, that way the top doesn't fall out as you take the screws out. That one up there is already loose, I see. I don't know who did that. Okay, so there, the panel is loose. Don't want to lose that screw. So now we're just going to take this straight off, and out it comes. Just like that. Just comes straight out, easy as pie. But this is the inside of a circuit breaker panel. And you can see these are what's called bus bars. Currently, this end of them is dead, but above this breaker here is not. And these are the hot lines right here that we're not going to touch. We are going to figure out which circuit that light was on. You can see those are hot. And then these bus bars should not be, because this breaker right here is the new main. See, there's some shoddy wiring working here. There should not be spliced wires inside of this box. There should not be any spliced wires. We have a circuit breaker here, 20 amp, which goes out to this row of outlets behind the desk, so I can unhook all of these. All these circuit breakers I'm going to take out while I'm in here. So we're going to pull out these, take these wires off of here, and then we'll be able to take these cable clamps off, which are holding these wires in, and we should be all set. So first off, I've tested all the wires. What I'm going to do is just pull these wires away just to see where they run. So it looks like this one goes to this lower 20 amp breaker. So these are off, in the off position. This one is also in the off position. So this is a square D, so they just rock right back out. I'll show you on one of the other ones. On the back of the circuit breaker, there's a little screw where the wire goes in. I'm trying to find it. There it is. Just gotta unscrew that screw, and it'll come right out. So let's do that real quick. And these circuit breakers are perfectly fine. You can reuse circuit breakers. So when you look at a circuit breaker, it just mounts onto these fins here. These are part of the bus bar. And then a square D, all they do is they just rock on. Ready? So all you gotta do is pull the front towards the center, pull that up, and it comes right out, just like that. Same with this one. You're just gonna pull the front up, and then it should rock right out. Ooh, this one's a little more stuck. There we go. Sometimes they do get a little stuck. They can be hard to pull out. So I am pretty confident on what I'm doing, and I've done a ton of research and reading and watching tutorial videos and everything on how to do this. So I'm just unscrewing the 2 screws. We have 3 circuit breakers now, 3 20-amp circuit breakers that we can reuse. Okay, so we're just gonna pull these out of the way. Those are disconnected. That one's disconnected. Now on the neutral bars, see there's 2 neutral bars, one on each side. You see those neutrals are just screwed in right there with that screw. They go underneath of the screw, and I'll show you real quick. So basically you just, they're very tight. Unscrew these screws on this bar here, and then the wire should just slip right out, just like that. So there, that circuit of outlets is completely disconnected now. This side, we're gonna do exactly the same, and then all these wires will be disconnected. If you are confident in opening up your panel, just take your time, just learn what you're looking at first, like I did. I took probably 15 minutes of looking at my circuit breaker panel in the house, just so I knew what I was looking at. I understood everything, and if I didn't understand something, I was gonna completely call it off and go relearn. So basically what we've done now, we've disconnected 3 circuits, and one goes over here, that way, behind the workbench. And then one of them is our circuit we pulled off the ceiling for those outlets. And then the other one, I'm not sure what the other one did, but it runs that way along with the workbench and then up over the ceiling of the office. I'm not sure what that one does. I think it's lights in the office area. But now there's some clamps underneath, just like the work boxes over there. There's some clamps underneath that we have to take off, just on the bottom of the panel. The clamp's still hanging on, there it is. All right, so we've got 2 circuits out now. We've got 1 more clamp to remove for the 3rd circuit, but that's unrelated to what we're doing, so I'm gonna turn the GoPro off. The best way I've found to put these covers back on without dropping it or anything like that, have 2 screws in your left hand ready to go. Basically, you could still use your left hand a little bit to help get the panel cover up. Just make sure there's no other loose connections or anything that I left out. Set it somewhere neat. I'm actually going to change to my right hand for this one, since I can't really stand to the left because the workbench is in the way. I'm going to set it up there. Try to find the holes. There we go, just like that. I've got one hand on it. I'm going to start with the middle screws. Doesn't really matter where you start, whatever's easiest to reach. You don't have to be too gentle, but just don't be so rough that you're pushing it into the conductors behind it. You don't want to do that. And then whichever one's easiest to reach next, just kind of go in that order. Unfortunately, that screw is going to have to stay slightly out up there, but the panel is at least covered. I didn't think of that. There's no real way to cover these holes back up, so what I'm going to do is just find some tape, I think, and just cover those. That way when it comes back on, those bus bars there won't be easily accessible. I will put circuit breakers back in those slots first before I knock any more out, because I don't want those exposed like that. Not that I think anybody's going to play with the panel, but you never know. So now that everything is unhooked, I feel comfortable in taking all this apart. So everything's unhooked from the panel, so I'm not worried about anything being live. And so let's start taking all this crap apart and see what kind of wire and fiasco we can get out of here. Oh my. Did that really just happen? You're kidding. Look at this. The receptacle just snapped in half. That's crazy. How did somebody not get electrocuted? That's wild. Somebody tapped into this outlet to feed a light switch, which is okay, that's fine. And then they fed it into what looks like a extension cord. Jeez, these things are in there. So the only problem with this here, it's okay to feed a switch off of an outlet, obviously, but you can see, they fed it, the light switch, to an extension cord, which runs up, to some of those lights out there. So that's the next thing, is this light switch. That 220, you need a very, very skinny screwdriver to reach down in the middle here, grab that screw. So now that should fit. That was easy. So you can see, I'll show you here, the screw, I get the screwdriver, is recessed down in the center hole here, and that screwdriver I had has a lot thicker bit on it, and it wouldn't fit down in there. So that's garbage. Don't need that. The 220 plug is off the wall. That's a good chunk of copper right there for scrap. Those wires, just have to take the end of it off. So there, now we are down to bare bones. We've got a wire here that comes from the work desk there, the work bench. We've got one metal clad wire here, which goes up to the ceiling, goes over and goes somewhere that way. We'll have to figure that out. We've got that one coming out of the box that goes to the air compressor. Otherwise, we can pull this black wire off. Oh, geez, that staple's rugged. You see here, there isn't really much to it. It's just a circuit board. And there's the front of it there. Just a circuit board with an antenna. That's all it is. And there we have it. Just like that, the boxes are all down. See how long they were up there. Look at the difference in the wood color. That's crazy. Been there a long time. All right. I'd like to thank you all for joining me on this quick garage video. I know you didn't get to see much of the house over the last month or so, but thank you for joining me on this electrical destruction in the garage. There's a lot more to come. There's a lot of work to do out here in the garage. And I don't have much to say. I hope you enjoyed this longer form video. If you didn't, let me know in the comments. If you did, let me know. There's a lot more work to go out here. We got to rewire the whole garage. I want to put outlets, big LED lights in here. That's all for the future once the house is getting more situated towards the end. I don't want to spend a ton of money in here just yet. I can get it all situated, all ready to be rebuilt, and then I'll start spending some money on it once the house is done. So thank you all for joining me on this main experience. We'll see you next time.